So welcome to metaphor number 13, 4.13. We're in the 13th week of our metaphors, and today we're going to look at why would anyone repeatedly beat themselves up? I mean, someone who's a masochist might do that, but why would anyone deliberately beat themselves up? And what would you say about that? So the goal of this presentation, this metaphor you're going to see in a few moments, is to get to the real cause, source of my experience. Is it the outside, in world happening to me that's the source of my experience? Or is it thought in the moment that I'm experiencing, not what's happening to me? So even though this is sometimes not so clear to notice this distinction, each one of these metaphors is meant to help break the barrier between the two so that the illusionary world of Olam Hadimyan, Olam HaSheker, Olam Hafuch gets turned inside out and revealed for what it is, an illusion. And that it's Olam HaSheker, it's not Olam HaEmes. And Hashem in His mitzvahs to train us to think what Hashem asks us to think is in alignment with reality thinking and Olam HaEmes, not Olam HaSheker. And it helps move us further and further away from thinking that I'm a victim or that I have to pity myself or have others pity me or have compassion for my struggles and just get on with life. So, with no more further introduction, let's look at how do we help ourselves stop beating ourselves up. So what's the metaphor? So here's the story. Michael comes home, Michael, whatever his name, and Mom says, "Oh, Michael, how was your day in school?" "Oh, Mom, I really had a hard time. Why, what happened?" "So, Shimon, he hit me with my bat, smashed me on my head." "It so much." And Mom says, "Why did you do that to yourself again?" "Because I want to show you. He hit me so hard." And Mom says, "Michael, what's the matter with you? You're hitting yourself on the head again." "Oh, well, that's how he did it, right? Like this." Now, amidst all this screaming, Dad in his office downstairs comes running up to find out what's going on. And he sees Michael crying his eyes out in real pain. And says, Dad says, "What happened?" And then Michael, before Mom can grab the bat away from him, says, "Shimon in school, they hit me on the head. I got such a bad bruising and it's terrible headache." And Dad's saying, "Michael, what's the matter with you? You got out of your mind? Put that bat down." So the father wrestles the bat away from Michael and says, we're going straight to your uncle right now. Now, happens to be his uncle is a prominent therapist, so they get in the car and Michal's sitting in the back of the car with a splitting headache and a bruise like a really bad bruise. And he goes straight to his brother, the uncle of Michal, and knocks on the door and says, "You got to deal with my kid. He's a nephew. He's going out of his. I don't know what's the matter with him." So he sits him down and says, "Michal, what happened?" He says, "Well, Shimon in school hit me with my bat." "What do you mean hit you with your bat?" "Well," Michal looks around and he sees a poker in the fireplace. And just pretend this is the poker. He pulls it out of the fireplace, and before his uncle can do anything, he says, "He hit me like this." And this is crazy. Now ask the children what's wrong with this story. What is ridiculous about this story? Now they're going to give you all the answers, but ask them. So what's the metaphor? What is it a mashal for? What is Michal doing? What is the bat in this story a mashal for? Oh, it's a thought that's hurting him, and he's reminding himself of the thought. And each time he reminds himself, he is opening up the wound, banging himself again. And one kid might say, what's worse than opening up the wound and not giving the wound the time to heal, because he keeps on smashing his head and telling everybody, "This is what should be." And everyone's going, why would you do that? Why would you repeat what the other person reenact it each time? Not only are you wounding yourself again and again and it's not healing properly, but it's becoming infectious. You're opening up the wound so that other germs can get in and Has v'shalom cause a serious infection in your entire body. Are you out of your mind? Why would you do that? Now, help the kids get outraged and describe how ridiculous and absurd, outrageous this is, and help them to turn the metaphor around and identify, so the bat is thought. What type of thought? A memory of something that someone did to hurt me. And the memory is so fresh in my mind. It could have been a week ago, a day ago, an hour ago, or even a year or a decade ago. But it's so fresh in my mind. I'm so fragile that just talking about it before I've even finished, I'm already crying from the reenacted pain and reopening of a wound that I'm not closing. And I can't because I keep opening it again and again and again. And with that, I become fragile. And in my fragility, in my weakness, in my very, very touchy type of behavior, because I've been so badly hurt by so many people and hit so many times, that I end up becoming more open to infection, to other disease, other germs, because I'm so fragile. And now almost any comment could so easily be interpreted as, you're being rude to me, you're being unkind to me, you're shouting at me, stop shouting at me. And the person's not even raising their voice. But in my mind, I am seeing arrows and bullets being fired at me, and I'm being bombarded by all these bombshells and grenades. And really it's just someone is talking, maybe their body language looks in a way that matches someone else's body language that I associate as my enemy and who really did hurt me all those years back. And it's thought in the moment that's killing me. And ask the children, is it really the bat? Is it really the person that hit him with the bat that is causing the pain? Or is it the thinking about it that's causing the pain? And get the kids to start paying attention to this very fine distinction, but it's worlds apart. Is it the bat, or is it the memory? And when we look at the nimshal, turn the metaphor around and understand what is it a metaphor for, what's a mashal for. This is when I beat myself up with thought, memories of what other people have done. It's not dissimilar, it's actually very similar and very painful. And then the question begs, so what's the point of that? Does it move me forward? Does it help me become stronger? Or do I feel weaker? And then if I fall into the trap of really believing that it's Shimon who's beaten me up with this bat, you have to really have compassion on me. Now, I'm a victim. And you have to have compassion and pity on me. And I go around believing that I am the source of pity. You must pity me. I should generate pity in you for me. Compassion and mercy for you. And feel sorry for me because I'm fragile and don't hurt me because I can't take it when people hurt me. I fall apart. I'm not trying to belittle Has v'shalom when people are hurt or intimidated. What I am bringing out is the origin and source of my intimidation is not the person intimidating me, but thought over here. And we've talked about this again and again. We're training every day, begging Hashem to give us the inner resilience, the strength of dust, to still be dust when people tread on us, that we're not affected by it. Like dust is not affected, it's still there. That's the power of the Jewish people. We're still here. Babylonians, gone. Persians, check off the list, gone. How about the Spanish Empire? Oh, gone, long time. Crusades, gone. Roman Empire, gone. Greek Empire, gone. Who's still here? How do you do that? Resilience. What's that resilience? Fight back? Revenge? Nakama? Let's get back at all the nations that have trodden upon us? Yeah, really? Look at the list. You know what we did instead? Ka'afar. We've been like afar, like soil, that the more you press it, the stronger it gets. And not only that, according to some Mepharshim, the meaning of it is that just like soil, even though we might abuse it, it doesn't stop providing life-giving fruit, plants, medicinal qualities of those plants. Almost all our colors from paint derive originally from flowers. It's all from the soil. The same soil I tread on gives back. And doesn't say, well, you did this to me, so I'm going to get back at you. No, it gives back, it contributes, it enriches. And that's what we mean by that. But the point I bring out is that it's such a concept that when we are begging Hashem, let me be like soil, like earth, like dust, we're referring to several levels. Number one, that I'm still dust and I'm not destroyed. I'm strong and resilient like dust. But number two, I even have the capacity to even give to those who tread on me. And look how you have in your DNA as a Jew the DNA of Avram Avinu and Sarah Imenu and Yitzhak and Rivka and Yaakov and Rachel and Leah and the Shiftei Ka and Klal Yisrael for thousands of years. You have the DNA of enriching the host nation that ended up mistreating you anyway. So don't even think about getting back at anyone. Hashem is giving us training in being strong. And one of the ways we get strong is flexing the muscle. And the more you push up on the floor against your muscles, the stronger they get, the stronger they get. The more weights you carry in weightlifting, the stronger your muscles get. So it's not about, Rabban, why are you overpowering me with so much pickles? I can't take it anymore. But guess what's happening? I'm getting stronger and stronger. My muscles are getting stronger. So in this metaphor, help the children recognize that the beating up is not what's really happening. What's really happening is thought in the moment, and that I could be my own enemy. I would end off asking the children, the most important question is, well, so how do you let go of the bat? How do you let go of the thought? And this is really the key. Yeah, how do you let go of the thought that keeps banging on your head and reminding you of the things that people have said or done to you that hurts you? How do you let go of that? And the amazing answer is, once you know how thought works, that there's always going to be another thought. Once you know that the pain that is being inflicted is thought, memory, remembering what that person's done to me, you already have the solution. Because it's not what you now have to do to let go, it's just the knowledge that it's my thinking that's doing that to me that will want you to let go. Why would I want to let that thought beat me up? Why would I let that thought not let me heal me by reopening the wound every time the thought comes around in my mind? Why would I want to let the black dot in the middle of a beautifully white life steal my attention from the good that's real? Why would I allow that the crumbled up dollar bill is now the definition of who I am, where the reality is the value never changes? You can't cut a neshama in half. You can't put a spear, an arrow, a bullet through a neshama. You are neshama. You are thought. No one can damage you because you're only one thought away from the next thought. So it's not so much how do I let go. It's more, once I know that it's thought that's hurting me, I can go to the next thought of letting go. That's how. It's a very subtle discriminator over here, but children hopefully can get it even more easily than we can. But the idea simply is, it's not so much what you've got to do. It's not a book of how to take control of your thoughts. It's simply the knowledge that this is how life really works. It's the knowledge that it's my mind that's doing this to me. So in the same way that it's my thought that's hurting me, I am in control of the next thought. So I know exactly what to do. Delete. Ignore. Distract myself to a different thought. Just recognizing that I'm the enemy and no one outside of me. Why should I be my own enemy? Why should I, in my right mind, hurt myself again and again and again? So I know that luggage doesn't belong to me. I don't want it anymore. I disown it. I don't want other people's luggage. I don't want their abuse. You can only abuse me if I let you in. But once I realize, hey, I don't have to let you in. You can't come in and hose down the palace of my mind with your filth, with your rubbish, with your garbage, with everybody else's waste. Oh, that's liberation. Liberation is knowing that that's where we truly exist 100% of our lives all the time. Okay, ready for the next week's metaphor. Welcome to 4.14, the 14th week of our metaphors, a weekly metaphor to bring out another aspect of how the power of your thinking is able to take control of yourself. And therefore, whatever you experience, because that's what life is all about, what you're thinking. So this particular metaphor, number 14, is going to explore how the Torah knows I can let go of thoughts of resentment. Lo titer et bnei amecha. Don't remember other people's mistakes. In English, usually translated as don't bear a grudge. Don't remember what other people did wrong to you. So how can you do that? Not simple. So we're going to bring out the absurdity in the reverse. So watch what we do. What you want here are stickers, about labels about this size, and have the children write on a sticker something that they're upset about or pained about or they've experienced or anything that would be negative. So for example, I don't like being teased. I don't like thinking I'm ugly, or I hate it when I'm not chosen on the class team, or when I'm excluded from that game in recess. It doesn't matter what it is. You can give them examples. Let the children be the authors of what comes out. But I'm going to share with you in this metaphor examples that may pertain more to you as teachers, adults, but you're going to ask the children to write their negative experience or something they're afraid of or anxious about on a label, and then those labels will be placed on plastic hammers. If you don't have rubber hammers, which you can get on eBay, as I did, like just as props, then you can have the children actually draw the outline of a hammer on a piece of hardstock card, then cut it out and then put the sticker on the handle of that hammer. So hold on tight. Here we begin. I'll take a hammer out of my bag and it says anxiety. Yeah, anxiety is a thought. Actually, when I think anxious thoughts, especially about my exams or about my marriage or about my health, I start to really, it hurts. It hurts when I think about it. But it's not the only hammer that I have that really, I have concerns about my health, like I'm overweight or I'm underweight or I don't eat the right foods, and it hurts me when I think about how I keep starting the diet and then breaking it, starting this, oh, I'll start again tomorrow. But I'm starting to get a headache from just thinking again and again about the health issues that I have and how am I going to bring down my cholesterol or whatever it is that's bothering me about my health. It really hurts. Are you getting the picture? Debt. Ooh, now this is not the gear to children, hopefully, but, well, indirectly they are helping bring about a lot of expenditures, but that's because I have an obligation to take care of them. But in the meantime, yeah, debt. Oh no, this is a big stressor in my life. I really, when I think about it, it really pains me. It hurts me a lot when I think about it. And this is just stress in general. I have so much stress in my life, and even just thinking about the stress stresses me out. And then I've got frustration from the children, from the classroom, from my boss, from my co-worker, from the principal, from my Rebbe, from my Mora. I'm really, really frustrated by my parents. They don't understand what I'm going through in class. And I'm frustrated because I can't articulate my confusion with the Surah Isis and the Kudais, because I'm only 5 and I'm really not slow or stupid. I'm really actually very smart, but I can't articulate that because when it comes to Surah Isis, they're going so slow. I'm bored out of my brains. And I started hating looking at the ICS, and now I'm really behind. It's not really my fault, but I can't be bothered because I don't enjoy learning. And I got all these frustrations. Some of them I can articulate, some I can't. Some I'm an adult for, so I can tell you what I'm frustrated about. But all I want you to know is right now, I get so many headaches from thinking about the things I'm frustrated by. Sorry, not done yet. Here's another one. Ooh, my spouse. It just drives me nuts. I don't know what's the matter with him. He just has no understanding. She doesn't respect me and doesn't support me in the work I do. I work so hard for this family. I just feel no support from my spouse. And this goes on and on and on. And I start to worry about the marriage. I worry about school, I worry about my school report, I worry about having friends and good friends, and I worry about fashion, and I worry about how I look. I don't know, I'm just like, I have so much worry in my life. So, and I can't tell you how many headaches I have from this. And it goes on and on. My boss, oh yeah, my boss. I do the work of 3 employees and I get paid half what everyone else. I bust my tail for this company. This company would have folded years ago if not for me. I work so hard and I get so little appreciation. And I really have a headache thinking about my boss. No wonder. And all this really makes me angry. I mean, I'm so angry. I find myself, the anger is right beneath the surface. I try to be really sweet and nice on the surface, but you know what? People can easily press my buttons. That gets me really angry. And when I get angry, I'm not happy. Ask the children, what's really happening over here? Why am I using a hammer? What's the metaphor? The kids will figure it out. Oh, these are thoughts. Anger is a thought. Oh yeah, fear. What is fear? Oh yeah, fear is a thought. Fear is a thought in the moment. The Torah actually tells me, can you imagine? The Torah tells me not to fear. How can you not fear? It's an emotion. Either you have or you don't have. No. The Torah tells me, it's one Torah mitzvahs, not to retreat in battle out of fear of the enemy. How do you do that? Well, the answer is simple. It's really deceptively simple. So if fear is not really originating over here, but over here, then as a soldier trained in combat, to notice big if a thought of fear enters my mind, what should I do with that thought? Should I worry about it, or should I drop the hammer, throw it far away so it can't reach me on its own? How does a hammer reach me? And the answer is it doesn't. I have to be holding it and hitting myself with it for me to get hurt. It's not you. The Torah is telling me fear is not the enemy. Fear is thought of the enemy. And once I know it's thought, I know what to do next. Delete the thought. Focus on the battle. Focus on defense, attack. Focus on, hey, this is our land. We're going to fight for it. So help the children come out with their own understanding of what is the metaphor, what is the mashal, and what's the nimshal. And they will come out with lots of insights of their own to flesh this out. Let it be a brief class discussion, but the goal again is to help them identify that when they experience fear or anxiety or worry, or so-and-so is hurting me, to recognize that the true cause of that is actually the thought of it in the moment, not the person themselves. The person themselves is not inside their brain pressing buttons. Thought, fear, anger, worry, anxiety, frustration. There's no such buttons. I'm the one who's doing this to myself. And it hurts. After a while, it really starts to hurt. Even the rubber ones start to hurt. But imagine if these were really thoughts going through my mind. That would really hurt. I don't have to imagine it. So help the kids to see, experience through metaphors how the power of thinking is all about letting go of the thoughts that are hitting me. And you really want to dramatize, if you're using props, you want to dramatize this with the kids, even though you can't have more than one thought at a time. But, if I think I'm being overwhelmed by lots of thinking, then I can really hurt myself quite badly with all these hammers that are thoughts in the moment. But at the other end of the scale, knowing that all these are thoughts that are happening one thought at a time, the real solution is to let go and let the next thought come in. And if it's one that's going around the carousel, doesn't belong to me, I don't want it, it's about anger, resentment, or frustration, or it's about remembering other people's faults, let go. But dramatize as much as you can to bring it out. But the other part of this, and depending on the maturity of the children, you can actually quote Rambam, who in the halachas of thinking, Hilchos Deis, that really means the laws of thinking. I want to quote to you from Hilchos Deis, chapter 7, halacha number 8, where he talks about the mitzvah to avoid thoughts of resentment. Lo titor, don't resent other people, don't bear a grudge, don't remember other people's mistakes. So he tells us what you should do instead of remembering other people's mistakes. He gives the classic example. Your friend asks you, Shimon comes and says, Reuven, can I borrow your hammer or borrow your cow or borrow or hire something from you, and you say no. Okay, now you go and ask Shimon if you can borrow something from him, and he says, sure. I'm not like you, that you refused to help me when I asked you for something or wanted to rent something and even to pay, but yeah, sure, you can borrow this. So he's not taking revenge. Revenge would be, no, you can't. You didn't lend me, why should I lend you? That's revenge. But lotita is, don't bear a grudge. Don't remember the mistake he committed against you, what he wronged you with. Don't remember that. So what should he do instead? Ella. Listen to the language of Rambam. Yimcha hadava melibai. He should erase it from his mind, from his heart. V'lo yitrenu, and not guard it. Natira is a lotion of guarding. Shomer, shmira. Shekol zman shu noite et hadava. All the time that he's remembering this item, this thing that the person did or said to him, and didn't lend him, didn't help him when he needed it. V'zoichroi, and he remembers it. So noite is guarding it. He's not letting go of the memory. And he's remembering it. Shema yava linkaim. You know what? He might come to something much worse, which is nakama, taking revenge. So it's interesting. Lefikach hikpida Torah. That's why the Torah is makpid, is meticulous al hanatira, against us having thoughts of remembering other people's crimes against us. Ad sheyimcha ha'avon melibai. The Torah is so makpid, it wants us to erase the memory from our mind. V'lo yizkarenu klal, and not remember it at all. V'zuhi hadea hanachona. This is the correct way to think. Because by letting go of people's mistakes that they did against you, you are contributing to Yishuv Haaretz. You're contributing to the continuation and sustaining of mankind. Yishuv Haaretz, society, interacting, trading, doing business. He even says the word umasamumatnam, and them doing business. The whole of society has a kiyum, is sustained because you control natira, not remembering other people's mistakes. So you want people to be able to do business with each other, you want them to get along with each other, you want them to barter and trade, do business, exchange of value. Hey, yeah, sell my house, you pay for it, the money, I made a profit on the sale, that's great, I can buy a bigger house in a different area, Tom's River, whatever, sold out in Brooklyn, and I get an acre with a swimming pool, and for just 3/4 of what this guy bought my tiny house in Brooklyn for, it's all exchange of value. But to remember other people's mistakes against us means we avoid interaction. We avoid doing business with that person. We avoid relationships. I'm not going to make a shidduch with them. And I start remembering all the silly little crimes that they did. And the Torah is saying, erase it. Erase from your mind what they did. Amazing. Incredible. Yet the Torah holds us to that, and it holds us that because that's reality. The very fact, and we've mentioned this before, but I have to say it here too, the very fact that the Torah tells me don't remember other people's mistakes, lo titoa et bnei amecha, is a vote of confidence that Hashem says, I know you can. I know you're capable. And I say, I can't. What he did was so dastardly, I will never be able to forgive him. I'll never be able to forget it. No, I won't. And Hashem's saying, you can. Now, I'm not telling you the applications in every single instance, but you see the general principle here is that God wired you so that you really can. And how do you know you really can? Because it's thought. Lotito is thought. Resentment is thought. Anger against another person, it's all thought. And there's a lot of them. A lot of different thoughts. Frustration, anger, health, debt. Whatever. It's all thought. It's all thought. And if it's all thought, hey, I'm only one thought away from the next thought. Ever. Always. And that's why it's so important to remember this, that you can live your life based on this. Both are thoughts. Don't have nakama, that's a thought. Don't bear a grudge. Don't remember what other people did wrong, is a thought. The next words in the same pasuk, go to the next thought, love others. Rebbeinu Shalom, you got to be joking. How can I go from such an extreme? I was feeling I want to take revenge against the guy. Then I reduced that to just resenting him. But now you're telling me I've got to erase that and switch it into love for the guy? How can I do that? And Hashem says, Ani Hashem, I signed off this pasuk telling you you can because I designed you this way, that you live only one thought at a time. And so you are capable of going from a completely different thought to another completely different thought. Just let go of all the resentment. So it's really important to understand this. Rashi agrees with Rambam. It's in Yuma, Daf Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph, right at the top. Rashi tells us language. You know what it means to shaloi titer? It means shadava shamu beliboy. It's shama beliboy. He's remembering the thing in his mind, in his heart. And he doesn't remove it from his mind. That is Natira. Natira is remembering, holding on, not letting go. And it's so clear the Torah wants me to take control of my thought in the moment. That's where I live. That's where I exist all the time. Resentment against my spouse is poison. Cut it out now before it reaches and infests the whole mind. Resentment to my father, my mother, let go. Move on to the next thought. And when that pop-up comes up, my mum this, my dad this, my spouse this, let go. Press delete. Because when you change you, everyone who interfaces with you is dealing with a different you. So they change in response to a different you. That's how we change other people. Not by trying to change them. Very funny. We never change anybody by trying to change them. We only change ourselves. And by changing ourselves, starting over here, that's how people change in reciprocation. We are creatures of reciprocation. K'mayim apanim lepanim, kein lev adam l'adam. That's how we are. Always. It never works any other way. Okay. We're now ready for metaphor number 15.